Hello, I'm Emma Hammett from First Aid for Life and onlinefirstaid.com. And today I'm going to talk to you about why first aid and learning first aid is just so important. It is absolutely vital that more and more of us are equipped with the skills and the confidence to be able to help if something happens. And the more we know, the more likely we are to be able to prevent accidents happening and be more risk aware as well. So I'm just going to go through 10 compelling reasons that first aid can make a massive difference, from saving lives to reducing pain, to feeling empowered and having a degree of legacy about you, and the whole lot. Let me go through it very briefly. So a few things to say. First of all, 8 out of 10 parents surveyed admitted they wouldn't know basic first aid procedures to save someone's life or save their children's lives. That's pretty scary stuff. And that means that if any of us have an accident out there, that the likelihood of other people knowing how to help us is pretty small as well. Significantly fewer people in the UK know how to help someone's life, save someone's life in an emergency, compared with the likes of Scandinavia, for example. And consequently, our survival rates are lower. It doesn't take long to learn these basic skills, and we can make it really easy for you. There are so many free resources on our sites that can help you. We also have online first aid courses, free ones and paid ones. And we have practical courses that you can either come to one of our scheduled courses, or we can run a bespoke one at one of your homes. So it really is easy, and it benefits you, and it benefits society as a whole, and it benefits your family. So it's a win-win-win all round. So key things. Reason number 1, first aid saves lives. So a recent survey by the Red Cross showed that 59% of deaths from injuries could have been prevented with immediate first aid. So that's pretty compelling stuff to start off with. Reason 2, appropriate first aid given competently and immediately reduces recovery time. So if somebody has got a serious illness or has had an injury, if you give immediate first aid, it can, obviously depending on what's happened, it can reduce the amount of time that the person spends in hospital and reduce the overall recovery time. It may also make the difference between somebody having life-threatening injuries or life-changing injuries and being able to make a full recovery. So I've certainly, as a nurse, seen many instances when things have gone right and made a big difference to the positive, and when things have gone wrong or first aid hasn't been given and people have, they've suffered as a result. So we've covered, it saves lives, it reduces recovery time, it reduces the time spent in hospital. It can prevent medical situations and accidents deteriorating. So appropriate and immediate first aid can prevent a minor injury becoming a more major one. And it can actually reduce, so certainly in the instance of burns, for example, if you are running a burn immediately under cool running water, you can reduce the amount of damage that has been done by that initial burn. You can actually reduce it just with cool running water. That's pretty amazing. So first aid is generally pretty simple to do. It doesn't cost in order to give immediate first aid, and it makes a massive difference. It can prevent unnecessary visits to hospital. So doing a first aid course can enable you to understand when something is seriously wrong and when you can treat it at home. So when you might need to refer the person onto more serious or more highly qualified care, when it can be when they should be treated by their GP, when you can drive them to hospital and when you need an ambulance. All important information to know, and understand what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, and how to do things properly. And also, if you were faced with multiple injuries, it would help you understand and prioritise which you should be treating first, or who you should be treating first. Competent first aid can reduce the amount of pain experienced by casualties, both in your calm approach and your manner and the way you deal with casualties, and in understanding how to move somebody who is in pain, how to reposition something that is causing them pain to reduce the amount of pain, and generally how to help them so it can reduce their pain. And also, in reducing the severity of the injury immediately, you can reduce the pain that way as well. As well as that, knowing what to do can improve the communication to the emergency services so that they can prioritise the care and they can get the help that the person who's injured needs quicker. So it can speed things up. And again, that helps to save lives, particularly in the more seriously injured, because the more competently you're able to communicate and understand and show that you know what you're talking about, the paramedics will be able to give appropriate or allocate appropriate resources and make sure they get to you as quickly as possible. It also, and this is really important, it increases the awareness of potential dangers and reduces your susceptibility and your family's susceptibility to accidents. For example, when we do our teenage first aid courses, I've seen this with my children, when we've then gone on holiday and they're faced with the excitement of diving into water, they will always jump in first rather than how they would have done previously, dived straight in. And likewise, if they're going off on holidays together, they are that little bit more risk aware. They're not totally invincible. Accidents do happen, and they are also far better empowered to look after each other. The same in preparation for their Duke of Edinburgh and that side of things. They're starting to be more individual, more independent, and giving them those skills and the ability to understand that things can go wrong and know how to help is crucially important. First aid makes you feel empowered, whatever your age. Being able to help is a really lovely feeling. It's good to be able to help. It's good to be able to help yourself as well. And it's nice and really important not to know that, or not to be totally reliant on the emergency services, and know that you are only using them when you really need to. And if everybody was able to behave like that, there may be a few more of the emergency services available for all of us when we need them. Sadly, there are a lot of people that don't understand how to use the emergency services, and they think calling an ambulance gets them to the front of the queue. That is not the case. So we should only be using our emergency services when something is life-threatening and we need them to come and give treatment on site, and also being able to stabilise the casualty on their way to hospital. And finally, and most importantly, it means that you are far more self-sufficient as well, and you're able to prepare in advance and be able to really help and look after your family when they need you. I hope that's been helpful. That's Emma Hammett from First Aid for Life and onlinefirstaid.com.